This is number one. Charlie, a WNBA task force of team presidents and general managers met Wednesday and discussed transgender athletes, but did not arrive at any eligibility rules for the Women's National Basketball Association. Just so you know, they can't figure it out.
I forgot I'm actually eligible for the draft, so I'm going to put...
Why wouldn't you be?
I'm going to enter as well.
This guy, Inez Freedom, changed his last name to Freedom. I've met him before at some of the events that we've gone to. He goes to some of the Liberty events.
Just call me Charlie Marie.
He has...
That's my WNBA name.
Has declared that he is in fact a woman.
I am officially declaring myself a WNBA prospect. If simply declaring who you are is all that's required, then I meet every single requirement necessary to compete in the WNBA. My team and I have carefully examined the WNBA's eligibility criteria and governing framework surrounding self-identification and inclusion. Based on the current guidelines, I can and am officially declaring my eligibility for the upcoming WNBA draft in May 2027. I am definitely not here to mock, make fun of, or disrespect any community or personal choices. I am simply asking that the current rules be applied equally to everyone. The rules that represent the very values many WNBA players and coaches have publicly advocated for.
Honestly, man, this is what we've needed this whole time.
Yeah.
Finally, we needed a man to step up and become a woman and say, I am declaring my eligibility for the WNBA draft.
Oh, to get viewers. That's what you're saying.
That's what we... No. This is what America needs right now. This guy also, Royce White, former NBA player. Don't know anything about him. Have not met this guy. Let's see what he said.
I identify as sometimes identifying as a woman for purposes of basketball.
I love that. I identify as sometimes identifying as a woman for the purposes. Okay.
Of playing with balls
What?
and putting them in hoops.
You're not going to... Come on. I thought that you were for the trans community. What are you talking about? I don't know why people are upset about this kind of stuff.
Professional basketball. So I'll be declaring for the WNBA draft in 2027 as well. Well, I mean, I think I'd be unstoppable. But I'm a team first guy. I'm a pass first kind of player. I do the little things. I led my team in all 5 major stat categories at Iowa State University. So I do a little bit of everything. I'll do whatever the coach needs me to do. I'll do whatever the girls need me to do. I think the WNBA could come out and make a definitive statement about guys with a pair of balls playing in the Women's Association. But hey, that'd be probably too much like right. So. And I don't want to be discriminated against. No, I want fair treatment. I'm a black, I'm a young black, hopefully United States senator that would like a fair chance to participate as a sometimes identifying as a transgender woman
Athlete.
Woman athlete.
Wow, he's going to be a U.S. senator and a WNBA star.
Got to be one of the first female basketball playing.
What kind of trophy
senators.
do you get for that?
All of them, I think. I'm pretty sure you get every trophy. So back to the fact that the WNBA does not know what a woman is. It does seem like something that you're going to want to figure out. But I'm just here for it. I'm here for the whole story. I want to see what they do because they're going to have to draw a line. It's one thing to talk. It's one thing to say these things at a press conference or the post about them or whatever. But when the rubber meets the road and you actually have dudes with dude parts.
They don't use rubber in the WNBA.
Oh, sorry. Now I want to see what they actually do. Are they actually going to say, no, obviously this is the Women's National Basketball Association and we're not going to let dudes with dude parts come in here and play basketball against the ladies because it obviously would not be fair. And if they do allow it, that's even better. We get to see that team.
The ratings are going to go through the roof.
Well, honestly, that might be one reason that they decide to allow this, though.
Yeah.
The ratings are going to be great.
Tickets sold out.
These guys, these girls are going to help. the other girls actually? Ticket sales,
A lot of money to be
viewership, all kinds of
made. A lot
stuff.
of money to be made in that first year.
Oh man,
So
for sure.
they're
First couple
probably, I
games,
guarantee they're going to come back with some kind of, and this is what CrossFit did because they're gay. They're going to come out with some type of testosterone testing or whatever. It's interesting. They're going to use some sort of biological markers. But it just still goes against the narrative because gender's supposed to be a construct.
yeah,
It's just like you're supposed to just be able to speak it into existence.
declare it. You have to declare it. Yeah.
what your gender is. You should be able to decide and not let this bigoted society tell you who you can be.
This next one was supposed to be split up into its own number 2, but it involves the NBA, the WNBA, sorry, so it's still number 1. And so
Number 1 is just all encompassing.
it's just WNBA and dumb.
Okay.
So we have a post from this this player, goes by the name of Dejanay. Now, I know what you're thinking. As you read that, you're thinking that should be pronounced Dejanay. Okay? That's what you're thinking.
All I thought of was a sandwich. And this is a woman. This makes total sense.
Obviously a woman. Yeah, Dejanay says white privilege. Now, and then tagged at Indiana Fever. Now, you might be wondering why would this random player do that?
I think they do a replay of it.
Here's Cunningham up ahead of the field, lays it
Yikes.
in, plus the foul, and then Cunningham gets into the face of Dejanay Carrington right away in the aftermath. And Cunningham has to be separated as both teams will head to their benches.
You'll see a Dejanay Carrington as Sophie Cunningham comes down, gets her right across the face, coming down trying to prevent the layup, but that is just a hard hit. That's definitely going to be upgraded, I think, to a flagrant too, Ryan.
I think that is going to be a flagrant too.
Okay.
I might watch this sport.
So it turns out,
What is this now?
I don't know what they call it. This was assessed as a flagrant 2, which is a classification of a foul. And Dejanay was ejected from the game after this play.
Any player who gets a flagrant 2 would be.
And so that's
And
where
by the way, they go to the video for this. They go to the review for these types. Now, it was called a foul on the floor, regular foul, but because of what took place, and New York called, I think they're still in New York for the WNBA, they called down to the referees and said, hey, you got to take a look at this. And they took a look and determined that this particular move is not a basketball move.
it doesn't seem like a basketball move.
When you're, clotheslining someone's face off of their head
Yeah.
while they're trying to make a basket.
So what you're saying is they went and they looked at the film and they saw, well, it turns out the girl who did the foul to the other girl was black and the girl that she fouled was white.
Flagrant
And so
2.
therefore we should eject her
Basically slavery.
from the game. It's essentially,
Yeah.
that's what I'm seeing. So she says white privilege. Now this is over on Threads where she says this. Now she didn't.
I think she said this before the game was over too. Like because of course she went to the locker room.
Well, she had time, grabbed her phone, you know.
grabbed her phone.
What else are
from
you
her
going to
bag.
do? Now, interestingly enough, she says, I've never once claimed that the assessment of the foul was white privilege. That was your assumption. Try exercising your critical thinking. It's just really weird because she posts that after this thing happens. I guess didn't specifically call out why. And then when people are like, that's ridiculous that you said that's white privilege, she comes back, I never once said that was white privilege. And of course, with the comments, everyone's like, lady, the internet exists. I don't know. It's a connection of like everyone's computers and even the different apps on the internet are connected
the
too.
timing
Like
of the message. Now look,
Yeah.
she gave herself plausible deniability. She didn't say white
Didn't say
privilege,
what it was, just-
Sophie.
Sometimes when people get ejected, they find their phone and they post white privilege out. That's
To
just
the
what,
entire team.
yeah, that's what you do. That's what you do.
Because you're
It's
mad
normal.
at, maybe it's because Caitlin Clark got the biggest shoe deal.
I've heard,
You know?
I want to see if anyone in the group can tell me that watches WNBA. I heard I don't watch, okay, but I see clips online and everyone says there's like a racism problem in the WNBA. Is that what's happening?
Interesting.
Are the white players getting attacked for being white? That's what the people that show up in my feed sometimes are saying. I'm not saying there's a racism problem. I'm saying I keep hearing that there is one, and I'm never going to watch it, and I don't care.
I think there's beef with the Caitlin Clark girl, and another one of the girls from a different team. I can't remember her name. I think she's been on Dumb Bleep before.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't remember her name.
I don't remember her name either.
She's I think pretty good, like in relative.
Angel Reese. There you go.
Yes. She's pretty good relative to the other women that she's playing against. And so that's pretty good. Okay, that's number one. Let's go to number two. This one is Zoran Mamdani. Heard of him. Let's talk about this new thing. He's fresh off of ruining the grocery market in New York, or at least releasing this plan to do so. And now they've found the new section of people who are being oppressed, and the oppressors. Of course, the oppressor in this case is Amazon. And they found the oppressed people, and that's people who are working as subcontractors under businesses that contract with Amazon to deliver their packages. And so they're going to solve this problem, of course, by ruining all of those subcontractors' jobs, and the people who run the businesses is going to destroy their businesses and make them illegal. And so let's hear about that.
Special delivery. If it looks like an Amazon delivery,
and it drives like an Amazon delivery,
then it's an Amazon delivery.
Amazon is spending millions of dollars to convince you that this isn't an Amazon delivery. But all you have to do is see for yourself.
My uniform says Amazon.
If I don't wear this Amazon branded vest, disciplinary action will be taken against us. The workers' routes and hours are set by Amazon.
so why isn't Amazon responsible for these vans?
Because Amazon and other corporations have built a vast network of subcontractors
That shield them from responsibility. Amazon tells these subcontractors where to drive.
Who to hire and what hours to work.
I do all the work that makes Amazon all the money.
This is why I'm proud to support the Delivery Protection Act, sponsored by Councilmember Tiffany Kalani. Because if Amazon is delivering your packages, they should follow the same rules of every other delivery.
when injuries and worker accidents skyrocket.
Amazon says they have nothing to do with it.
They can't have it both ways.
By shielding themselves behind these so-called independent operators, this trillion-dollar company is able to avoid regulations on our city streets. And that's why we want to pass the Delivery Protection Act.
Oh, Jesus Christ. These people who have no idea how business works and then they get in positions of power.
Yeah.
Just quite impressive, honestly. But
what I heard the whole time was a bunch of people describing how subcontracting works. Like that's what it all sounded like to me. We heard the same thing when it came to like Uber and Lyft drivers and stuff like that. This is how it works being a subcontractor. That is true. It's like, you pay someone to build your house and that person's going to like, oh, you need cabinets right here, right? We're going to do cabinets. And so that person finds someone and tells them, we want cabinets right here. And this is the kind that we want right there. Here's the date that we need this done by, and go over some budget and stuff like that. And then you have these people come in and put them in. And that person's like, well, why aren't you paying for my van?
You need to pay for my laser
your business.
and level and my plumb line. You want these cabinets plumbed? You're paying for them.
You're operating the independent business that does deliveries, and you've decided that your business is going to contract with Amazon, and Amazon's going to say, we need someone to deliver these things today, and here's the places that they need to go. Okay? And guess what? You can say, well, screw you. I'm not going to do that. And then Amazon can say, well, I'm just going to find someone else that'll take these things where they need to go today then. That's just the way it works.
And by the way, you sign a contract agreeing to terms. Like if you don't want those terms, then you don't sign the contract. You try to negotiate. And Amazon will say, okay, yeah, we see your negotiation, but we have, well, I don't know, there's 1,000 companies trying to deliver our packages. So we'll go to the next one to see if they like our terms that favor Amazon. Of course they favor Amazon. Okay. get until the point where enough delivery businesses or Amazon doesn't have enough delivery businesses to choose from that they actually have to negotiate and give some favorable terms back.
Here's how it works. Amazon also delivers their own packages too. Okay. So where you just said, of course it favors Amazon. Well, yeah, at the point that they're making a deal that doesn't favor Amazon, they'll just do it themselves because that favors Amazon. Okay. So why not just this? Of course, they're the ones bringing you all of the work that needs done. These people, these DSPs, as they call them, or any of the people driving, didn't go online and get millions of people to buy all of these products that people are buying and selling or anything. No, that's not what it is. Amazon brought all of that business. That's why it exists. That's why it's happening. And so, of course, it overall benefits them. But so I went into the law. So what this is going to do is take all of these delivery service providers and there's 40 of them that Amazon uses in New York, and they employ about 5,000 people to deliver their packages. And so that's a lot of people. And this is going to take that and make those illegal. Okay. Now they sort of made it sound a lot like it's all about safety and training and stuff like that, you know? So you would think all they would have to do is then make a law that says, okay, if you're doing delivery services for Amazon, you need to make sure that your drivers are going through the same kind of training and safety and all that kind of stuff that Amazon's doing. And you can just keep doing business with Amazon, right? Like a problem solved. If this is about safety, then why not just go ahead and do that? Well, let me tell you, it's not actually about safety. You're going to be so shocked when you hear about this. Okay. So going through the law here, direct employment. Let me see if I have this all through. Yeah. All workers providing core warehouse services at last mile facilities in the city shall be directly employed by the facility operator. Now, the facility operator in this case of our example is Amazon. That's whose facility it is. Workers providing core delivery services on a part-time or full-time basis shall be directly employed by the facility operator. So no more of these independent contractors. Okay. Third-party contracts, contracting with any third parties, including staffing agencies or other subcontractors for the performance of those core delivery services or core warehouse services is prohibited. That's what this is going to do. Employee retention. In the event that any facility operator is required to terminate a contract, such as contracted workers engaged in core services, as a result of this law that we're doing here, the facility operator shall offer to rehire those terminated workers as employees to perform the same work they had previously performed before offering to hire any other workers as employees. So also in this law, because they know there's 5,000 people just with Amazon, they're going to put it in the law that Amazon, if they're going to hire anyone to fill the void created by these people going away, they've got to go to these employees first and hire them before they can hire anyone else. So they're trying to make sure that these people aren't
actually just says offer. I mean, couldn't I offer you something and then take it away?
As long as you offer, yeah. As long as you offer. Let's see here. Then they go through all the safety obligations, delivery worker record keeping and safety obligations, blah, blah, blah. You guys don't want to hear about everyone making a list of all the individuals that are performing services, information for each worker, contact info, proof of commercial auto insurance coverage, driving record, moving violations, all that kind of stuff. For each delivery worker retained as a non-employee, so they can decide that they're just going to keep using these subcontractors to do it. But for each employee, they have to pay $500,000 to the city to be held by the city. So for each employee.
In a lockbox, I'm sure.
It's going to be put in a lockbox.
Yeah.
All right. So that's good. And such, the fund shall be made available in event any person injured or otherwise harmed in a road incident involving those delivery workers obtains a judgment against such delivery worker or their employer. Okay. Worker training. So we're going to go through all that stuff. They got to make sure everyone's very safe. Very safe. Once again, training program requirements, last mile facility training organization shall offer a last mile facility training program that includes no less than 6 hours of training, including live and interactive instruction on the following elements. All the different elements that you have to go through to make sure everything is very safe. And then we get to the fun part. This is real fun, okay? Nothing in any of those sections that I just read for you guys, the training, the making sure that they're the firing people that are working for third parties or subcontractors, making sure you hire them employees, none of that matters if the delivery service provider, subcontractor, joins the Teamsters union. So the 40 DSPs with the 5,000 workers, they went out all these training programs they have to go through. Actually, all of them have to be gotten rid of because they have to be direct employees of Amazon unless they join the Teamsters. And then it's fine. Then none of the requirements I just told you about matter anymore at all.
No, because they have a union protecting them, Nate, with a collective bargaining agreement in place.
I just love that. I think that's awesome because it's just so blatant. It's just so in your face. All this was someone from the union came over to the office and said, listen, we already wrote up this whole thing for you. We got the cheesy royalty-free music in the background of the video and everything. You just have to say this script right here. We already had some of our people in the city council write up the law. All right. And it basically just says that we're going to destroy all of these businesses unless they join the union. And there you go. And you can say it's about training and safety and all that stuff. And they have to comply with all of these rules and regulations unless they just join our union.
And a way to force Amazon into a collective bargaining agreement with their subcontractors.
Pretty great. So to sum up here, Amazon uses 40 DSPs with 5,000 employees in New York City. Unless they join the Teamsters, most of those DSP owners will lose their businesses. Remember, these are businesses that set up to contract with Amazon that have hired a bunch of workers, and this is their livelihood as well as all of the workers who work for them. Amazon's probably going to reduce routes. They're probably going to increase automation. They're probably going to use more of those lockers, like where they just drop them all off at the locker and then get back out of the city before they get taxed on something. They're probably going to increase their delivery fees, and a bunch of the same day routes and those kind of options are going to go away for many people in the city. They could also move their warehouses to just outside of the city. So then the facility operator is no longer even located in New York.
It's no longer under their jurisdiction.
They could do that. That's a big expense. Like that's a lot. Okay. That's going to increase the amount of miles that the drivers are driving. And when they talk about how many crashes per mile or incidents per mile, more miles you would think also equal more incidents. And so
by
that could
default
be an unintended consequence right here. And I just put on here as a note, that's not really about safety when you get an exemption from all of that stuff just by joining the union. That's
Nate, the union protects you.
They do.
So you don't need the training.
They protect you
anymore.
They are there for the worker. That's what it's for. Okay. All right. So that's fun. I enjoyed that one. Let's get to AOC talking about woke one being crazy. Now, I heard this clip earlier in the week on another show, and I did not like the response that I heard from it. Now, she knows what we know, which is that woke one was in fact crazy. The 2020 time, 2021 time that we all lived through was nuts. And I don't think it's so much that people have changed since then. It's that they realized that it didn't play well with people. And so they've stopped saying so much of it out loud. And that's all that's happened right now. It's not that they decided those ideas are stupid, that they realized that they were wrong. It's that they realize that they're not going to play politically. And I think that's what AOC says in this clip.
I've been focused on those legislative
What do you make of those controversial statements? I'm sure you've seen. I mean, she's, the Thanksgiving dust up. Mm-hmm. She says she doesn't, still believe that, but, the abolished prisons, abolished police, which is also positions that have been taken by a lot of the progressive candidates who have won. Mm-hmm. How do you get around that?
Yeah.
I mean, those are not positions that are supported by
Right. I mean, I think that a lot of these races, even right now, they'll have a tendency to be nationalized.
Yeah.
But these races ultimately are local, and all politics are local. My understanding is that that Francesca Hong has made clear her present stances to her electorate.
Yeah, she's moved away from a lot of that.
Right, she's moved away from it. And I have a local city councilman that has this saying, woke one was crazy.
Woke one was crazy. Okay, that's interesting.
And I think that what's important is that we have to assess what
was it? I mean, did the movement go too far with some of those positions? I mean, you briefly supported the idea of defunding the police.
Well, I think that during this time, and especially during COVID, there was a huge opening of the Overton window. We were shut down. There was some of the highest unemployment rates that we have seen because of those shutdowns. Yeah. And I think that
which you
the doors were really open in trying to entertain any and every policy that was going to get us to a better place. And I actually think that the discussions that were had in that time were quite fruitful. I think that when we talk about crime today, it's fundamentally different than the way that we talked about crime in bringing crime down, right? And I think that we all share in the goals of having as low a crime rate as possible. I think that, during lockdown, of course, rhetoric in that time is not rhetoric that we would use today. And I'm grateful that these candidates have the opportunity to present who they are to their electorate and what they're campaigning on in this moment.
The reason I put this in here, in case you're wondering, is she's going to run for president sometime, okay? And what she just said was very important.
Isn't she currently leading in the polls for 2028?
She's up there. She might be right now. I haven't looked in the polls in a bit, but she's like on the top, top 1, 2, or 3 each time these polls are done. The reason I wanted to talk about this was because she basically just said that we're not going to use that rhetoric today because it didn't work the first time we realized that. And at that time, the Overton window was different, and we thought we would say anything that we thought would move the country in the right direction. In that way, she's saying that, yeah, we think that those crazy things we were saying is the direction that the country needs to move in. And at that time, we were all just saying crazy stuff. There was just a wild time sitting home in the lockdowns because the government did that, and I supported it. And everyone's just saying crazy things during that time. But she also thinks that that's the direction that the country needs to go. And I just want to make sure everyone realizes, I know people listening to this show know that, but make sure you tell your commie friends or your normal average Democrat friends that these people have not changed. Not just AOC, but none of them really have. They're still the same people. They've just learned that they can't say it out loud. And every once in a while you get like that Thanksgiving Hong lady that lost, luckily, where she, is like, oh, we should cancel Thanksgiving. And I'm so virtuous for saying this. And then she comes back. She's like, actually, my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving.
The one we should cancel.
And we know that Mamdani has said a bunch of crazy stuff in the past. That guy, El Sayed, who's about to be in here in a second, has said a lot of crazy things, still is. And AOC has as well. And they're not like moderate. They're not changing in their beliefs. They're just getting better at lying to people about it so they can get into power.
As of 2 days ago, AOC overtook Newsom in Poly Market.
In Poly Market.
So it's in the betting market. The AOC is now the front-running Democratic nominee, according to Poly Market.
As people with a show, we know that AOC winning would be great. Or her even running.
For the show.
Would be great. For the show, yeah. It's like, just to be clear.
Not good for the economy.
For the show. No, it'd be terrible for
you.
Humanity in general, for everyone. It would be terrible. But for a show, like that's pretty good, honestly. And so we might need to start funneling some money towards some PACs to try and get her in there, that juice the numbers up a little bit. I think that'd be helpful for everyone.
We could do dumb bleep of the day.
Yeah, just every day, dumb bleep. Okay, number 4, Bernie Sanders posting out child poverty rates. I told you some of these would be pretty fast. We're going to run through a couple pretty fast. Bernie Sanders posts out these childhood poverty rates. And Who might you guess is at the top of all of these nations with childhood poverty?
The U.S. hates children.
Good old U.S. of A. Number one, baby. Okay. At 21.1%. And he says, we must end the outrage that in the richest country in the history of the world, more than 1 in 5 children live in poverty. And I'm really happy that he put that last line in there because he clarified what he meant by these numbers. The problem is that's not what these numbers are at all, because you can go and look at the childhood poverty rates, and it's not those numbers at all. There is another number that comes up with that, and it's a crazy way to explain. You know, the median household income. Okay, so median is just another way of saying middle. Basically, it's not an average; it's the one that's in the middle. So the rate that he used takes the median household income and then cuts that in half, and then says, all right, anyone below that line, that's what we're calling poverty. Now, the problem is that's not what our country calls poverty. That would actually be much higher than poverty. And also using that median and cutting it in half only tells you that there's 21% of kids whose parents are poor relative to what other people are making in the economy, but nothing about their actual standard of living whatsoever. For instance, if you were to take this measurement where you do the median, you cut it in half, anyone below that is in poverty. If everyone's income doubled overnight, then those same 21% would still be in poverty, according to Bernie Sanders' number. And so it's just a really stupid way of doing something. And you got to ask why. Like, why would, because he has to know that. He's got to know that, right? He's old enough to know that that's not the childhood poverty number.
He's still growing up.
When is he going to learn? At some point, you got to say, I don't think this guy's going to learn. Well, I keep waiting on him to learn, but it just ain't happening. Our number right now is 13.4% if you include government transfers. That's what this SPM column is that's on the screen.
And
right
by
now,
the way, that's to
13.4%.
American level, like the federal poverty guidelines.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is the highest in the world,
It's
I believe.
still better than probably most of the countries whose flags were on that post right then. We're going to add in some more stuff from Bernie here. I just hate it when you're advocating for a specific economic system like Bernie would be, or advocating against certain people and that you have a better way. And then you turn around and you use like lies to try and convince people. It's like, if your ideas are so great, why do you have to manipulate data in order to get people on your side? It's because the real data wouldn't get people on your side enough, and you have to lie about it. That's what the actual answer is. Thanks, Bernie. Thanks, Bernie, for giving us a number 4, because
really important question from the Fed Haters Club, which you can get by signing up on YouTube or going to joingml.com. They're wondering, we had a URL, bernielies.com.
Yeah.
Is that still available?
No.
We might need to re-up it.
No, you see, I made the gamble. You know, you got to do that like yearly, and it's actually better if you get it every 2 years. And I made the gamble a couple years ago, assuming that he was just going to die from old age. And so I was like, well, we don't need to get this again, you know, because he'll be dead by then for sure. Surely.
Lindsey Graham will outlive Bernie Sanders.
Yeah,
right?
so I got Graham lies instead. No, and he's still going. No, the actual answer is it just didn't seem like a necessary expense, honestly. It's probably a good URL.
It was good in 2016.
Yeah, it's a pretty good URL back when Bernie Sanders was running for president, or just after he was running for president. Right now, it was like, Bernie? Who's Bernie? That guy? He died years ago. You know, that's what I wish they were saying. So, all right, number 5. Here we go. We're going to talk about, what's this going to tell me to talk about? Medicare for all. Okay. So we're going to start with a clip here from Abdul El Sayed for our Medicare for all section. And then we'll make fun of that Medicare for All study that we talked about, I believe, on Wednesday. Here's El Sayed. There we go.
Well, you know, some Americans worry, though, you can only make Medicare free and universal if you increase taxes. So if you are elected and make this push, would you need to increase taxes?
As I've said across this campaign, I am for taxing billionaires their wealth.
What about people who make less than $1 billion and less than $1 million, though, Dr. El Sayed? What about people making less than $1 million?
So for the average person, and you look at your W-2, if you're an employee who gets paid every 2 weeks or 4 weeks, after you pay your taxes, the next biggest check that comes off the top of your pay stub is to your health insurance company. So imagine instead of paying that to your health insurance company, whose CEO makes $20 million a year, instead you paid a little bit more in taxes for healthcare that you wouldn't.
I like in these conversations, they have to throw in those little things. Whose CEO makes $20 million a year? That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. How many people are on United Healthcare?
Most of the country.
Like
they're the largest.
Millions upon millions upon. If it were 20 million people, then each one of them, it would cost them $1 a year to pay that person's salary. But it's not even 20 million people. It's probably 50 or 60 or more than that are using it. And the fact that people can't just do this immediately in their heads, like $20 million a year, okay, well, who cares that there's so many millions of people who use this? Surely that can't matter. Why did you say that? You said that to get me upset. You said that to make me jealous, to hate someone who has more than I have. That way I'll give you more power. That's why you said it.
And it's not like we're defending United Healthcare. United Healthcare does suck. I mean,
Sure. Yeah. I'm sure they suck. Sure they do. Is that who I have? Yeah, that's who I have. They've always been fine with me, but I'm sure that they have done awful things, and I am obligated to not like them at all. Although I know that what's happened is that they've turned into an organization that's operating in a market that's free from competition. It's not that you're just going to get virtuous, benevolent people that are going to run businesses in a market. It's actually going to be the fact that those people have to compete and provide a better service than everyone else. And instead they operate in a market where all the other competition has been destroyed and regulated out of existence. And this is what has happened. We're then waiting on them to just decide to be virtuous, benevolent angels running their business, when in fact it is supposed to be the market that keeps that in check, but they're operating outside of a market that's controlled by the government. And so even when I say they're terrible, I hate those guys, okay, it's probably about the same for anyone who ever had a business that was in that position, is what they would look like. Anyway, I digress.
I got the numbers. Just their commercial and employer individual members, 29 million. 29 million. Okay.
They
also service 8 million Medicare Advantage and 7.4 million Medicaid and Community State.
Okay. All right.
40.
I was shipping about 70 cents per person a year.
You could say 29 to 45 million people.
Okay.
Are on their plans.
All right.
So
see, you get rid of the CEO salary, all of a sudden insurance is affordable for everyone, right? God, retarded.
You'd say 50 cents a year, by the way.
That's what it is. Okay, here's a little bit more.
Lose if you lost your job or turned 26 or got married or got divorced. I think all of us would be a lot more interested in that kind of a system if we knew that our healthcare would be free at the point of care and would be free without having to worry about losing it in general. So there's an opportunity here, I think, to trade what we give to a big corporation who gets to decide who we get to see and who we don't for a little bit more paid in.
Medicare still decides who you can see.
No, Charlie, I guarantee you under Medicare for All, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor.
Yeah.
It's going to work this time.
And it'll save the average American family $2,500.
She actually does a good job pressing him, because he tries to say, well, yeah, we're going to tax billionaires and it's going to pay for Medicare for All. That's literally not possible. It's like something you're going to have to tax like $4, $5, $6 trillion more a year, or not more, because actual Medicare is combined in them. Well, let's just say it's $4 trillion more a year you're going to tax. You can't tax that from billionaires. You can't. You literally can't.
They don't even have that much.
No, you can't. You literally can't just get it from billionaires. You can't even just get it from millionaires. That entire system would crumble. You're going to have to get it from the middle class and from everyone else. That's where it's going to come from. All right. That's where all that money is. Okay. Anyhow, that's enough of that. Let's make fun of that study real quick before we move on to something else.
But you can get a full breakdown by listening to Wednesday's episode.
And I'll put a link to it right now. There we go. Did you like that link? Okay, now that you came back to this video, let's make fun of this. So all of these people were posting out earlier in the week that a Yale study confirmed, Bernie literally said it confirmed, that Medicare for All would save over 114,000 lives and $1 trillion per year. And the only way they were able to come up with those numbers, I'll just tell you, just right off the bat, was by making a bunch of stuff up about the amount of people it would save based on models. They took models that were based on models and then made their own other models to make up for other demographics that people hadn't even done models on before. And then they just came out with this number, and that's what it says. And then $1 trillion a year, what's going to save that is, this is my favorite part of the whole thing. Everyone who currently works, operates businesses and services in the healthcare industry is going to work at Medicare rates, and nothing is going to change. Okay, that's it. They're just going to take, here's what we normally get from commercial payers, and instead we're going to get paid what Medicare pays, which stayed half as much ish, and then everything's going to be fine. There's not going to be shortages, lines, places closing, anything like that. That's all going to be great. So there we go. And that is how you get to, this is going to save all those lives and $1 trillion every year. As long as you believe those things, then yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah,
go
perfect.
Ahead. That's great.
That's perfect analysis.
That's exactly what it says. That was number 5, Medicare for All. Number 6, we're going to move on to what I consistently call the Commie Block. So like every day I'm just filled with memes and posts from commies on our page, and they're really dumb, and we could talk about them. And so to kick off our Commie Block for number 6, talks about healthcare. Okay, so this is MC Squared responding to a post that says a shocking 92% of U.S. adults are not going to the doctor because it's too expensive. And MC Squared says, what stage of capitalism is this?
Oh, he misspelled fascism.
Yeah. I said, my response was something like, it's the stage where the government has been controlling healthcare for multiple decades and commies try to tell us it's capitalism. That's what stage we're in right now.
Yeah.
I don't know which stage that is or what level that goes to, but that's, if you actually think that we have some form of a market, free market in healthcare, that the government's not regulating healthcare and that we just have pure capitalist environment in healthcare, then you have done no research on the healthcare industry at all, and you should shut the hell up.
You don't understand it.
You literally don't understand what you're talking about. Take it from one guy who's a bona fide expert and another one who's married to one. You have no idea what we're talking about. Okay?
You're a de facto.
De facto,
expert.
yeah. I'm at least half of the expertise that by law, you know.
In your marriage, and then you get another 25%.
Yeah, there you go.
Hanging out with me every day.
Exactly. I've picked up on some stuff.
Go
ahead.
I think you've heard enough phone calls.
Oh my God.
To understand.
Hours and hours of phone calls.
I just don't put headphones in.
No, he doesn't. Doesn't.
This is my office. I turn it up.
Let's come to my house. I'm not wearing headphones in my own house. Okay. Anyhow, here's another post from Commie on the Res. Says the phrase, quote, earn a living implies that every worker somehow doesn't deserve to live unless they make enough money. What's your immediate thought on that one?
I mean, I guess if you don't hunt or fish or know how to build a house, you don't deserve to live either.
You don't deserve it. That's what it is.
What is living?
That's not what that phrase says. It doesn't imply that you don't deserve something. Earn a living, okay? For you to living, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, okay? You just think about your living right now, okay? Got a house or whatever, an apartment, something like that. Maybe you got a car you drive, some clothes that you wear, some food that you eat, okay? All of those things had to be produced or provided by another person who worked, who labored to make sure that you had those things, okay? In exchange for that, you don't just get to freaking sit there and do nothing while everyone else has to work to provide you with a living because you have a right to it. What about those people? Why did those people have to work to create things that provided you with this living that you have? They didn't just pop up out of nowhere, all right? They had to work too. So to earn a living means that you were able to trade something with those people who provided all of those things, earning a living. So you can also help those people earn a living as well. All right. It doesn't mean you don't deserve. We don't measure your.
This makes me think
desert
that if we're going to have government education, we should mandate in high school, I think, solo camping.
Solo camping. I gotcha.
For 1 week, you get to bring you get to choose. You get a fishing pole, a bow and arrow. You can choose one of those. And then you can bring a knife or a hatchet, and that's it. You get 2 tools. Someone else made those.
It's a pretty hardcore school you're talking about.
Someone else
here.
made those tools, but you get 2 of them. We'll let you have 2 of those tools. And then you got to go camp for a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Are you going to have like a camera crew following you around the whole time? Or you check and see a week later if the person comes back? Is that it?
We check and see if they come back.
Honestly, all of the other morals aside, tell you the truth, 100 years later, you got a way better society after that. I'm just saying. If
the people who survive that, yeah, they make pretty good people.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you got a strong society
and also,
after that.
The people who survive that, then you come out with a lot more gratitude.
You do.
For the abundance that people have produced in these United States.
When you have this thing, how did I get this thing? Did I just have a right to it? No, other people had to work to provide that for me. And I'm saying I shouldn't have to work to provide something for anyone else. It's such a crazy thing that people think. That's literally what they're saying.
It's just this is what happens when you have a society of abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would consider most of these kids likely are spoiled, or they have some type of spoiled environment, or they see someone who has a spoiled environment, and it creates envy, jealousy, laziness. Like one of the best things that ever happened to me, sorry, Mom, was that I grew up extremely poor. Like it, I've had this conversation a few times with some friends where they've told me like, hey, like, what do you do if you're in a pinch? Like you can't borrow money from your mom or dad. I'm like, nope. They actually borrow money from me. So I don't have that luxury. They're like, if I'm in a pinch, I have to get myself out of the pinch, which makes me think about pinches.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
But also, that if something happens, you can get out of it because my God, look at where you came from.
Not only that, but it gives you a sense of gratitude for the things that you do have. And it gives you a sense of things that are needed versus wants and desires of what's actually necessary. It grounds you, I think, in a place where you have an understanding of how basic economics work or basic humanity works, what you really deserve, what you're owed, and then what's on you to go out and produce for yourself and your own family. So I don't know. That's that's hard to teach. And I think I struggle as a parent sometimes what that line is, because I obviously want to give my kid everything I didn't have growing up. I'm like, this is awesome. You know, I got some adult money now and I have a kid. But I also want to make sure he's not a brat,
spoiled brat,
and that he understands what it means to actually live and where things come from. So I'm about to send him on his solo camping trip here soon. He's 9. So
there you go. That sounds fun.
Once you're 10, you should be able to go fend for yourself, I think.
Well, just like in the old times.
Yeah.
You know, one more thing for our Commie Block here. Saw this one today. This one was also posted, I think, by Costco in the Fed Haters Club. It is this is a meme or a screenshot of, I believe, Matt Damon, probably from the Odyssey movie that just came out. I haven't seen it. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Pretty sure. That's probably what's happening, I would say. And so the caption says, everyone, we should tax billionaires more. MAGA earning $35,000 a year. And it's Matt Damon like screaming, crying, in awful pain. It's terrible. And so the idea behind that is, why do all these people making $35,000 a year care about whether or not a billionaire gets taxed more? Like, why would you care about that? To that, I would ask, why would a white person care whether or not a black person gets falsely imprisoned and put to death? You're not black. White people screaming like Matt Damon. Come on, doesn't involve you. What are you worried about? Now, that's not the same thing as billionaires getting taxed. Obviously, we all know that. But you can't actually care about groups or collections of other people that you're not in, and actually think that those people also have rights, just like you do. Like, if I am against taxation and I think all taxation should go away, I don't then say, well, except for the economic groups that I'm not a part of, because those people don't have the rights that I'm claiming that I have, because I don't like them because they have more than I do. That's not a principle at all.
The other way of saying this is that you can earn $35,000 a year and not be an idiot.
You could do that.
Yeah, or dumb.
It's possible. That's also possible. You could also know, as someone who earns $35,000 a year, like you're sitting there, you're thinking, what's like the worst thing that could happen to me right now? Oh, I know. The U.S. government collects more money, and then it does things with that money. That's actually about a surefire way of your life getting worse after that. And so you'd be against that government collecting more money from the economy, because that just tends to make things a whole lot worse. And you don't think that your self-preservation or your life getting better has to come from stuff that was taken from other people that are members of groups that you're not a member of. You could just be that kind of person. That'd be great. Or you could just say, well, screw those people. I'm not in that group, so take from them. All right. The next one's called WTF Republicans. It's just a collection of me saying WTF to stuff that Republicans are saying.
This goes from commies.
Yeah.
To Republicans now.
To Republicans, whatever you want to call them. Where's the Michelle Tafoya one? Did I have that? Okay, here's a quick 18 seconds from Michelle Tafoya. You might recognize that. Wasn't she one of the sideline reporters or something for NFL on Fox or something? I'm pretty sure.
Maybe,
I'm pretty sure she was, or just someone else with the same name. Here we go.
I think right now, at least just kind of keeping a stiff upper lip. Maybe you take one less trip to Starbucks, and so that gas goes a little further until this thing is over and these gas prices come back down again. Let's just try to be patriots about this.
Let me tell you what, man, that is a winning gall darn message if I ever heard one.
The problem is you're not patriotic enough. You know, you can't forego your Starbies so that we can drop a few more bombs in the Middle East somewhere.
Let me see the comment about
how dare you, non-patriot.
Michael Scarn says same person as a sideline reporter. So I thought, yeah, how dare? Why do you hate America? You know, you think back to the founding fathers; they were patriots. America, except for an actual patriot, you know. Probably do a lot of different stuff right now that you don't want to record onto a microphone. Just saying, if she's telling people it's time to be patriots, I don't think she means in the 1700s sense of the word being a patriot. I think she means being a patriot is getting down on your knees and saying thanks to whatever they give you. All right, that's what's going to happen
anthem.
during the yes, exactly during the anthem. Yes,
yeah.
I was going to do a Shawshank quote, and I decided
she doesn't mean by patriots that you should be like Tom Brady, Bill Belichick in this thing.
No,
that's not what she's getting at.
No, they have way more Starbucks than you because they have more money.
Yep.
So that's obviously not what she means.
What are gas prices, by the way? I noticed that I think locally here they're close to $4 a gallon.
You're at $4. It's $3.40 over with where the pores are. I mean, where it's hot.
Yeah.
Over on the other side of town.
Dark.
Yeah. It's about $3.40 over there. And so I get a better deal than you on gas.
That's true.
I'm not getting gouged like you are. Don't get me started on price gouging. No. Here's Trump saying something great about Iran.
Just so you understand, oil is lower than it was during the Biden administration. And I stopped them from having a nuclear weapon. Because if I didn't do what I did, they would right now have a nuclear weapon, and you would be addressing them as sir. You would call them sir.
All right. If he didn't do what he did, they would right now have a nuclear weapon. Not only that, you'd be addressing them as sir.
And daddy.
Yes, whatever else it is.
Daddy Iran.
Which just, the next few are just going to be me saying, I don't understand how Republicans or the diehard MAGA people do it. I really don't. Like listening to this guy and then acting like, yeah, exactly. That's right. Like hearing him lie and gaslight and just be ridiculous about things like multiple times a day on a daily basis and not just being embarrassed about it. I'm embarrassed when I hear that right there. Guys, first off, they weren't even enriched to the point where they could make a weapon. They could have if they wanted. They're 60% or whatever. No intelligence from anyone said that they had even started or even decided to start the process of building a bomb. None of them. No one said that.
That's step one.
They hadn't even talking about starting the process of talking about starting a nuclear weapons program or building an actual bomb.
Well, of course they wouldn't, Nate. They're going to keep that hidden.
That's true. Okay? I just want to know what intelligence has been shared with him that, our DNI said that we didn't have. You would think when you're going into a war, you'd say, well, we had this intelligence here. It turns out there were communications and they were about to build this bomb and they knew exactly how and it was going to work very quickly. And they were going to have a system to deliver it all the way to America.
I was going to say that's step two.
And so here's all the intelligence we have.
And step three, they had a plan for everyone in America to call them sir.
Yeah. That's step three. That's where the real thing. It turns out they didn't have to have that. Like they're winning right now. They just are. This is embarrassing. He's not going to be able to save face on this one. He's just not, except for with people who believe like stuff like this. Let me see what he says in this clip. This sounds great.
Fantastic time in Ohio. The country's doing well. The stock market's fantastic record. We have 79 records so far in a short period of time. More people are working right now in the United States than ever before, and prices are dropping fast. Iran is going fine, going just absolutely fine. We totally control the Strait of Hormuz. We have control over it. Nobody else, only us. Our Navy is unbelievable, and things are going great for our country. Go ahead.
Everything's just fine and dandy. Just fine and dandy now.
Everything to the fine. It's just, I should have been writing down all the stuff that he said. Prices are going down rapidly. What is he talking about?
Iran's doing fine.
Iran's doing fine. We control the Strait of Hormuz.
79 records in the stock market.
That's one. That's a true one. There's more people working right now than ever in American history. Do you know what else is true? There's more people. than ever in American history, but there is a smaller percentage of the population working than there have been at times in the past. Like, I hate it when people pull out that stat. I don't understand how you can just make excuses for this every single day. And I voted for the frickin' guy. I just can't do it. Can't do it anymore. Here's Caroline Leave It. And she's leaving, by the way.
Had 4 years of that.
All right, this is only 13 seconds. Here we go.
Allowing complete lawlessness and chaos across our country. We had 4 years of that under Joe Biden. Thanks to President Trump and Republicans and common sense policies across the board, our country is safer. Our country is more affordable. Allowing.
All right, she does say it's more affordable. So that's wrong. And I'll go ahead and throw in while I'm going through videos. Let's just make fun of the fact that they've already named the freaking base after Lindsey Graham. My God. Here's that.
The moment has now arrived. With a shared vision for the future and deep respect for our past, together, let us mark this new beginning in 3, 2, 1.
There it is.
I mean, it makes sense. That guy's a big supporter of the military.
Yeah. I know it probably makes his sister feel good knowing that he is looking up at all of us smiling right now.
Screaming.
Somehow smiling.
God, he was just on the news with the hats. You know?
Yeah, it's this year.
Wearing different hats.
I know.
Cuba was next.
We hadn't even done our Lindsey Graham voices.
Cuba's
quite
next,
some time.
man.
Yeah,
Cuba was next.
Maybe I bet it was Cuba that did it, trying to stop him
from the grave. Castro came back from the grave
and took him out. That's crazy. Yeah. I think my post just got shared from my my response to Michael Scorin on X was, "Where is this? Are there a lot of men in Lindsey Graham right now?" The base was what we were talking about. For sure. That's what we were talking about. Okay. That's that. And then I have a post.
I think
here
I would quit the military. I think if I was stationed down there at Lindsey Graham. It's got to be in Carolina, right?
Did you put this one in? I would assume so.
Yes, I did.
Wouldn't it have to be?
I put this one in.
Okay. Charlie entered this in for us for number 8. It says, Missouri lawmakers released a playbook demanding transparency from AI companies. Okay. Asked if AI wrote it, they said, we did not use a large language model AI for that. And so they looked in the properties, and the author of the playbook is OpenAI. That's,
I just think is hilarious.
I'm not even mad at them. I think that they did a good job. It's them admitting that AI can be pretty valuable for some stuff. While
for them,
they can use it, but they need more transparency. They probably just need the names and information and all the history of all the people who've ever used it. That's what they want.
My brother went to this school.
Which one is it?
Lindenwood University.
Was it a good one?
Yeah, it was all right.
It's fine. Is he smart? Did he learn good?
He played basketball there in St. Louis University.
So he didn't do a lot of schooling.
Probably not.
Playing basketball. He played for the men's or the women's?
I think the men's team, but I'm not sure.
Okay. He hadn't declared at that time.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
I don't think you were allowed to at this time. This was during the Obama years, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was tough times. Tough times.
Yeah. Obama said marriage is between one man and one woman.
Missouri House members gathered at Lindenwood University Tuesday morning to release a framework demanding radical transparency from AI companies. The document they handed out was hiding an embarrassing detail about itself. The file's embedded properties visible to anyone in 2 clicks list its author as OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, just in case guys didn't know. The politicians proposing rules to regulate AI appear to have asked AI to weigh in on the matter. Which is how you know it can be fair and balanced, Like, hey, write a paper about how we can destroy AI. And GPT's like, sure, of course I can do that.
I got a law for you.
What style would you like it to be in, Asked directly by 5 on your side whether a large language model produced the document. Future caucus chairman Rip Collin that Wellenkamp flatly denied it. We did not use a large language model AI for that.
That's the funniest part, is when asked if they did, he just No, he said not wittingly. Basically.
Not wittingly, no.
You know, he took the James Clapper line. But not wittingly,
man.
no.
All right, so that's good. Making fun of people in Missouri there for a minute. Although I went to college in Missouri also. How about that?
You did.
I went to
about that. SEMO.
Southeast Missouri State University. Beautiful school, I'm told. Hardly ever went there. So it was great. You know they still charge you even if you don't finish? You still got to pay them. That's crazy.
And then they'll put interest on that.
Yeah. What kind of scam is that?
You know what? You shouldn't have to owe that. You should be forgiven of that.
I should be. I should have been forgiven, but unfortunately, I was not. I was not forgiven these loans. This is number 9. This is the last one. And that's good because we're at a gall-darn hour and 10 minutes right now. And I just wanted to make fun of one of the most blatant fixed pie fallacy conversations I've ever heard. This guy's name is Ryan Grimm. And I've used a lot of his posts before because he's great on the Iran war. Very good source of information on that.
Before we get into the substance, can I just tell you something? It is 2026.
It is.
I don't know if you know that.
Yep.
They've actually gotten really good at toupees these days. All right. Like ridiculously good.
Yeah.
And that guy's wearing that.
You think that's a toupee?
Oh, that's a toupee.
Really?
Oh, for sure.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
my God.
We should have a separate vote on whether or not Ryan Grimm's wearing the toupee right now.
That is for sure one.
This is important information that we need to find. This is one, honestly, I was just going to record like us doing a separate video response to this. It's so ridiculous, though. Let me get to the beginning. Economic conversation spurred once again, yet again, from the burrito conversation. The freaking $20 burrito spurred just a whole economic
Here we go again.
conversation.
This chart right here tells you everything about how much people are choking. Because if you look back at the numbers before the green line, 2018, 2019, 2020, people were not living high on the hog. Mm-hmm. But at least for the last 2 decades or so, there had been roughly stable food prices, grocery prices. You don't see a concomitant rise in wages between this time.
Yes,
what you see is people who were struggling already now all of a sudden paying this much more.
Now, what he said so far, if you're listening, is accurate. They're looking at a chart of food at home inflation, and it has gone up quite a bit over the time span of what's in his chart right now. It's all accurate. And wages for everyone obviously did not keep pace with this, and the inflation went up quite a bit for the food. He's right so far. Here we go.
For food prices. And what also happened at that exact same time? In 2020, we had the massive kind of influx of money to kind of stave off economic collapse from the COVID shutdown. All of that wealth, all of those trillions of dollars that were spent, and people were glad to get the checks and everything else, that all flowed directly to the top in terms of these companies charging higher wages,
and the supply chain
supply chain
too,
and asset prices going through the roof. And
so he's also now pinpointed that there was a massive amount of money that was injected into the economy because of what happened during COVID. He's right on that. And that he starts to kind of break down here a little bit now. He says all of that money that was sent into the economy flowed up to the top. Now that to me is just an obvious statement. If you're giving people money so they can buy stuff from the people that they normally buy stuff from, and you give them that money and they turn around and they buy stuff, where does the money go?
To the people who make stuff.
The people who sell stuff and make stuff. That's where it goes. You guys are normally paying people for things. You don't have any money because we shut you down. We're going to give you money so you can keep paying people for things. We gave you the money. You pay people for things. Oh my God, the money all flowed up to the top. Yes, it goes to people who produce.
That's what Elon said. Okay. All right. People who make stuff.
Okay, here's a little bit more.
We went from you can look at the exact numbers, but the top 1%, their share of wealth absolutely exploded after 2020. And what people need to understand is that when you have wealth transfers like that, they're coming out of your pocket. It's not totally fake imaginary numbers that are expanding the wealth of Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. They are taking. We haven't had economic growth. Like Western economies have been growing at roughly 1% for like 2 decades. And the riches, the wealth of the top 1%, they've been growing at 10, 20%. So if we're not producing more wealth, but the rich are getting richer, it has to come from somewhere. And that chart that you saw, that's a part of where it's coming from. You are getting poorer, and it's harder for you to afford things like food because you have less wealth. If the rich were getting richer because they were creating innovations that were growing our economy at 5% or 10% a year, then your living standards would stay stable. But they're not. They're taking it from people.
Right. And you know.
So the argument he just made, and he says something, it gets even dumber in the last like 20 seconds or so, is that this growth of the top 1%, he says the share of net worth for the top 1% exploded after COVID. Unfortunately for him, you can look at a chart and see that that's not true. It's literally not true when you look at the shares of the growth in the net worth. Let me pull that up for you real quick. Net worth held, share of net worth. Let's look at that. Which one is the top 1%? It's a lighter blue line. Exploded, let's see, 29.9% at COVID. And right now, it's at 31%. That's not a super exploding share overall, I wouldn't say. Actually, the share of net worth by the bottom 50% has gone from, that's a 25% explosion from 2 to 2.5. That's a big explosion right there. It's actually more than the share for the top 1%.
Top 1% went from 29 to 31, you said?
So 29 to 31, yeah.
So roughly 6.5%?
Something like that. Could be.
Big explosion.
He also said there's been no economic growth. He makes the point that our GDP is only a couple percent a year, so there's no way that that's where that money for the top 1% came from. And that's a totally wrong way to do that. GDP is like a measurement of all the goods and services that we produce in the economy, and like net worth is like your value
by the way,
assets determined by the stock market.
But remember, GDP also includes money that the government spends.
It does too. So
yes,
it does. They take it from you and then they send it out.
But here's the thing you're missing, Nate, from this discussion here is Elon Musk is a trillionaire.
I'm mad about that.
So
I forgot that I was so mad about that. That's is the problem.
Where is he on this chart?
He then also makes the argument. Well, I'll show you where he is on this chart. Gall darn it. One of these lines that's spiking up like crazy right here. See this line that's spiked up like crazy? Actually, that's the top 10%. The top 9% minus the 1%.
By the way, can I give you some math real quick on if you listened to us during this show back when you were getting your stimmy checks, and we told you guys you'd be better off investing those in the market than spending it on goods and services.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you had just taken all the money from the stimmy checks as an individual, which is roughly $3,200 between April of 2020 and March of 2021, and put that in the S&P 500 index fund, you would have, from $3,200, you would have $7,358.98 today, 130%.
Look at that
return.
Look at
on your
that.
stimmy checks. So
I should have done that. He says something else which is ridiculous, which is that they are literally taking this. That is the only way that they got this money was from taking it from the middle class and from everyone else. I'll show you on the chart that mathematically isn't even possible, but it's literally not possible either. Here's him saying that at the end.
Which is up dramatically right now. And again, these people want to tell you that if you complain about this, that you are a irresponsible loser, avocado toast, overspender, and ultimately it comes back to Iran, which is why they're all getting mad.
And real quickly, just the top 0.1% 20 years ago of households owned $7 trillion. Now they own $25 trillion.
And most of that is because of the stock market.
And we haven't had a 4x increase in our economy. That they took that money has been taken from the wealth of what used to be the middle class.
Yeah, and
that's
what
for that to be true. Just so it's
by the way, first of all, he went back 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, he went to, so we're going to 2006. Sagar Enjeti, the other guy on here, he knows. He goes, yeah, and that's mostly from the stock market. It is. It's literally mostly from the stock market. And that is often separated from like how our GDP is going or how anything else is going. It's like what people value, one share of ownership in a certain company. That's all it is, literally. But he says they literally took that had to come from somewhere, meaning if they went from 7 to 25, that means that they had to take 18 trillion from another group of people who's now 18 trillion poorer than they used to be, right? I mean, that's the only way they would go from 7 to 25 is because they took, he says they literally took that money from you, from the middle class. Well, so they had to have taken 18 trillion from those people over time.
Well, the problem with that, though, is that the bottom and the middle class have also gone up in the last 20 years.
That is like an unfortunate problem for his argument.
What an anomaly there.
It is very unfortunate.
Does it even go back to 2006? Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So
let's take it from his numbers.
If you were to look at the top 1%, now he said top 0.1%, but it's gone up for all of them. And so first off, just making the argument that the top 1% got richer because they took it from the people in the middle class, why doesn't their number just shoot down from there while the top 1% is going up? The number goes up for all of them. Actually, I have it over here where I can tell you the percentage that they went up. Just so we know. I have it indexed to 2006. He said 20 years. And so that starts at 100. And right here at the top, who grew the most? Let's see who grew the most. I bet it's the rich. Top 1%. They're up at 319 now from 100. Okay, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good growth. Not too bad, 220%. It's not too bad. And then we've got, is it not all showing up on there?
You got to scroll over a little.
How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
Who else has grown during that time? The lighter blue line, the bottom 50% is the next highest growth since 2006, up to 287 from 100. Okay, not too bad. Not too shabby. The next one down in growth is the 90 to 90. So the top 10% or the top 9% really, up at 276 from 100. And then the 50 to 90th, their growth has been up to 256 from 100. And the CPI from 100 to 163. So this is saying there's been 63% inflation over that time. It's way more than that, just so you know. I just want to put inflation on there. That way you say, well, that's inflation and that's why all the stuff has gone up. And they're the only ones that beat inflation. This is the official inflation metric on here, and all of those things have outpaced that. But we know about that inflation number. The fixed pie fallacy just won't freaking die. That's the problem. The mother freaking fixed pie fallacy. And the problem I have with it is that it changes people's minds. They use it to like dictate their thoughts on things. If that person has that, they must have taken it from other people. And I just don't understand how people can look at Elon Musk's net wealth, who during SpaceX IPO went all the way up to 1.5 trillion in net wealth, and he's down like 850 billion now. Do they think that he stole $1 trillion that week for a couple weeks, and then somehow it was all clawed back from him by the workers? They struggled over it. They took it back from him. They took roughly $700 billion back away from him, and then over the time, some days he finds a way to steal a 20 billion from there, and then they get it back the next day. That's literally what you have to think to say these things out loud, except you're probably not thinking. That's the main problem.
Well, then they advocate for policies, for voting for people that are going to implement policies that make these economic decisions, and that's the dangerous part.
Yeah, because it's going to actually make life worse for people.
Yeah, for everyone.
That's why you should actually care about it. Like going back and talking about the billionaire, like why would someone making 35 grand care about a billionaire getting taxed more? Your ideas are going to make life worse for everyone. You're not actually solving the problem.
Arguably worst for the for the poorest people.
Yes. Yeah, because the rich people can find a way to deal with it. They'll be fine. You're going to keep making life worse for everyone else.
We heard from Tucker the other day. He's richer than most. Doesn't even didn't go to the grocery store.
No.
Doesn't know the grocery prices.
He loved that grocery store in Russia, though. He went grocery shopping there, and he acted like it was... That's why he was so shocked by the grocery store in Russia. He never goes to a grocery store.
He never goes at all.
She's like, oh, they have carts you can put all your stuff in. So why doesn't America do this? That's why he was so excited. You know?
You put a ruble. Put a ruble in there and get your...
like a part Mickey Mouse thing in there. That's really what that was.
Put a ruble and get your card out so that people bring their carts back to get their ruble. Why don't we think of this?
By the way, for the most part, I like Tucker Carlson and his analysis on most things, except for economics. He's really bad at economics. Number one, what is an MBA? WNBA, sorry. What is a WNBA? Plus white privilege. 2, Mamdani delivery. 3, woke one was crazy. 4, Bernie child poverty. 5, Medicare for all. 6, the Commie Block. 7, WTF Republicans. 8, Missouri lawmakers. Number 9, Ryan Grimm's fixed pie. That guy just wakes up in the morning, eats a fixed pie for breakfast, has one after lunch every single day. Just glorious fixed pie fallacy. And